What's up? Welcome back. I'm John Stark from BackTheMovieGuy.com, your favorite blind film critic, and today I'm doing The Bear, Season 4. This is on Hulu. I finally saw all 10 episodes. I let them all marinate. Didn't see them all on the same day, so that way I could let it sit, let my mind understand and process. So click like, share, subscribe, hit that notification bell, because we're going to talk about The Bear, the Emmy winning series, the Golden Globe winning, the SAG winning series, the SHAG. I don't know if that's a thing. It probably won that too. It just wins everything. It wins all day, every day. I'm also a blind film critic, so I use audio description, and The Bear does have audio description. This is narrated by Roy Samuelson, and just really some great work, honestly. I don't know, probably 0.360. I don't remember the company. I'm going to guess 0.360. Maybe Pixelogic, but probably 0.360. Pixelogic mostly does Apple stuff. So, yeah, The Bear. We're back for a fourth season. I honestly just don't understand why this show is in the comedy series category. It just blows my mind. Like, I understand the Emmy rules are a little bit about like where do you submit, but I think like the governing body of the Emmy Awards needs to get together and go, why do we like keep letting The Bear submit in comedy? Because I'd like for actual comedy shows to win in comedy. This is not a comedy. This has stopped being a comedy. I'm not really sure it was a comedy to begin with. Season 1 might have been a little bit of a dark comedy, but it has really abandoned that altogether. It's like shifted genres completely. I didn't laugh at all this season. Like, not once. Not one time did I laugh at all during The Bear. But I was incredibly moved, deeply affected, and found some amazing performances. Like a drama series. I felt like I was watching This Is Us. And so continuing to put this thing in a comedy series would be like being best actor in a comedy, Sterling K. Brown for This Is Us. That's basically what we're doing every time we put Jeremy Alyn White in there or the rest of the cast. You know, it's just like, man, it's so hilarious watching Mandy Moore get Alzheimer's on This Is Us. Best comedy series. Like, what are we doing? Seriously. So now this series isn't funny at all anymore. But yeah, we deal with a lot. I mean, Carmi's still trying to process Jeremy Alyn White, for those of you who don't know what I'm talking about. Carmine, the lead of the series. He's still trying to process a lot of things. And at the beginning of the series, we finally get the gist of their review, and it wasn't great. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not the kind of review that they wanted, and it sort of put them in an awkward place where now it looks like that they're going to be sort of running out. And then they talk about like, well, what if we get a Michelin star? You know, and then there's later on in the season, there's a rumor that there's a critic from Food and Wine magazine is coming. So those kind of things could end up changing the game. I will say, this is sort of a spoiler, it's been picked up for a 5th season. So if you're looking at the episode titles for season 4, it's very... I think Hulu probably should have waited more than like a couple of days to pick up season 5, because season 4 episode 10 is titled Goodbye. So, which kind of, I hadn't even gotten to the episode yet. I'm like, but they're making another season. So it must not mean that, because, so yeah, they're still making more of The Bear. So it's not really Goodbye, although contextually, when you get to the final episode, you'll understand why it's titled that. But it's very sort of, I feel like they could have let the weight of that. But then again, the episode also doesn't feel like it would be the series finale. You know what I'm saying? Like, it also doesn't feel like well, this is the last episode of The Bear ever. So Ted Lasso kind of did feel like they were doing a series finale. And then they were like, well, we're done. And then Apple's like, are you really done? Can you make more? Please? Please. I mean, really, please. And just eventually berated them into making more Ted Lasso. So, yeah, Carmy has to deal and process with a lot of things and also try to save the restaurant. We see sort of like the history of the restaurant, sort of like how it's being built and coming into fruition to begin with. Richie, there's a little bit less focus on Richie this season and his stuff, but there's still enough. I'm continuously impressed with how Eben Moss Baccart took a character that I hated in season 1 as turned him into like one of my favorite characters on television. Like, that's amazing, because Richie in season 1, I was like, this guy's obnoxious. He's so annoying. So annoying. And then in season 2, they started giving him his character like more complexities and different levels. And from there, he just took off. Like, it's like a completely different person. So now Richie's in this like super mature place where he can like have conversations. He still feels like he's the tough guy, odd man out that isn't a cook, but also has this deep love and affection for this restaurant and wants to see it succeed and is part of the family, but not really a part of the family. You know, so he deals with a lot of that. He's got his own personal life, this wedding coming up, and should he support it? He wants to go, you know, just to show his daughter that there's some level of solidarity, but also it's kind of weird for the ex-husband to go to the wedding of the, anyway. So he's still dealing with all those kind of stories. Sydney Ayo Edebiri's character, she was already sort of a bright spot in season 1 for me. And then they just decided to make her lead. They bumped her up. They went from she went from best supporting actress to lead actress, as Sydney sort of became the focal point of the bear, of the restaurant, and her cooking, her style started redefining the fine dining equivalent of the restaurant. And she sort of partnered up with Carmy, which is she's still doing here. They give her sort of like the mid part of the season just is hers. She just owns it. She owns like episodes 4, 5, and 6. There's one episode that's entirely her. She just goes off and spends the day with her sister and her niece. And then there's another episode that sort of has a lot of emotional weight behind it. It's also pretty much a Sydney only episode, although it does cut in and around. There's a lot of the season that's just given to Ayo. But unlike last season where I felt like it shorted Carmy a little bit, Jeremy Alyn White's character, for purposes of being able to boost the ensemble, they found a lot of time to be able to give Carmy, and he has a lot of great conversations in this season that he didn't have in previous seasons. So now I actually see the purpose of, oh yeah, I would nominate Jeremy Alyn White for Best Actor in a Drama, which I know he's not running for, but he deserves it because everything he does is incredibly emotional. Like, he has a conversation with his ex that was incredible. He has a conversation. There's an episode that's just him and Jamie Lee Curtis, and fantastic, amazing. She's amazing in it. He's amazing in it. Just tremendous work. When the acting is on point, it's on point. So, and sort of like the final person, obviously, we have to talk about is Abby Elliot, who, you know, she just gave birth last season. I thought Natalie, that kind of defined a lot of her character, was motherhood and the frustration of not being at the restaurant or not doing as much, and trying to find herself again. But they didn't do as well of a job supporting her. So she kind of became a character that I think the Bear sometimes has a little bit of a trouble balancing necessarily all of the narratives of everybody. Like Liza Collins-Zayas, I don't think they shoot these seasons, and then I think the critical praise hits, and Liza starts getting these nominations, and she's pretty much considered to be a lock for an Emmy nomination. She really doesn't do much in season 4. They don't know that they have a breakout star in season 4. It's actually kind of weird. I think they thought that that episode wasn't going to break her out. So most of the time she spends this season, she's just trying to learn how to cook a dish in under 3 minutes, like how to prep a dish and get a dish together in under 3 minutes. So it's not nearly the weight of she had that whole episode last season. Marcus has a little bit more to do. There's a certain character that comes back. I don't want to spoil everything. They do add some characters here that we saw in other contexts. Richie, there's somebody who knows Richie who comes in here, and there's also somebody who knows Marcus who comes in here, and they help to sort of get the kitchen together, get the restaurant together, and get it prepped for hopefully maybe their last run to success. Computers letting them know that they're about to run out of money. And there's even some strife. Jimmy's around, Uncle Jimmy, and Carmi, that's part of his sort of coming to terms with everything, and even Uncle Jimmy's roped in here. So it's still a great ensemble, still a great cast. Is this my favorite season? That's tough to say, because it depends on what you want out of every single season. I think with seasons 2 and 3, they started building up the ensemble. But in season 3, I thought Carmi's just character suffered tremendously. I thought he kind of got left behind because they realized they had such a robust ensemble. And then in season 4, they made sure that Karma got the screen time back, but then they kind of also took away. So I think they have a hard time balancing. That would be my only note, is it feels like every season they'll boost somebody and somebody else will get kind of dropped back off. Now, Jamie Lee Curtis's character never has that much screen time to begin with. She's only in 2 episodes. So it's fine, because that's really all she needs. She's a small impact, character. You give her an episode. 7 Fishes is still my favorite episode of The Bear. So you give her something to do and she just tears into it. Now, the episode here, that they always have an episode that's longer than everything else. So they have an episode here that breaks an hour. It's episode 7. It's also my least favorite episode of the season. It was padded. It wasn't the same thing. Before The Bear, when they've done their long episodes, there's been this sort of weight behind those episodes. This time, they padded it. It is at an event, so we're spending more time at a specific event, but it's a series of moments, and then sort of there are gaps in between. So it's rises and falls, instead of being one compelling 60 plus minutes of your time. It feels like an episode that really was 35, maybe 40 minutes, and then they added 20 minutes of whatever. So it felt stretched to me, and that didn't quite work. So I can't say that The Bears season 4 is my favorite season, but if I was handing out nominations, I'd make sure to give them once again to Jeremy Alyn White, Ayo Edebiri, Eben Moss Baccart, and Jamie Lee Curtis. I think those are the 4. Abby Elliot, who honestly deserved one for season 3 for the episode that she had with Jamie. She ended up sort of getting, I don't know, she's going to get an Emmy nomination this time around. The focus on Liza. I'd be shocked if Liza got a nomination for season 4. That would surprise the hell out of me. It would make more sense for Claire to get it, for Carmi's ex, Claire, to get it, if they were going to give a second supporting actress nomination. I don't know if Jamie's still running in guest or supporting actress anymore, but you can make the case for her in either, I guess, because she's been around for so long in the series. Probably guest. So if they got a supporting actress nomination, it might actually be Claire, because of her excellent episode with Carmi, and later on she comes back around, she's in another episode. So those are my thoughts on The Bear. Yeah, the audio description is fantastic. The first episode has a lot of silence to it. It's just like Carmy getting up in the morning, and it's all like audio description just straight through. But there's so many times that I just thought the audio description just nailed it. Even in the description of food, it kind of made me hungry. I was like, oh, that sounds delicious, you know. There's a scene. There's the episode between mother and son, and they're looking at photos. And there was actually an attempt to describe the photos, even though it was kind of pointless because Carby doesn't recognize anybody who's in any of them. And it's not like they're famous people or anything. They're just sort of like random photos of people. But there was still an effort that was given to describe them, especially, leading to the point where there is a photo that we're supposed to recognize, right? So I thought that was done lovely. Yeah, it's a really great audio description track. And I like The Bear. I hate that it's in comedy series, though. It's like there's this little sting that this show always gives me because I feel like it's taking away awards from shows that are actually funny. And it's also sort of crippling itself because Ayo is never going to be Gene Smart, ever. It's never going to happen. Gene Smart's it is actually doing comedic work in an actual comedy series in that race. So she might actually win drama. It's tough to tell because the mix is always, we have series that wait like an entire, it takes a while for them to produce another season. So it's always like a interesting mix of which series qualified for drama series every single year. But she has a much better shot of winning drama actress than she does comedy actress, especially this season. I mean, like, there's nothing funny about her work. Like, her work this season is very somber, very serious. So, yeah, I'm gonna give The Bear season 4 an A-. There are a couple bumps. Season 7, episode 7 wasn't quite as it has, but it has great moments in it. It's just too long. They overstay their welcome. So that's it. Thanks for watching. Thanks for subscribing, and I'll see you guys on the other side.